Have you ever seen someone laugh for the first time in years? I have, and it happened on a rainy afternoon because of a barefoot girl dancing in the mud. Gabriel Andrade's mansion was enormous. 10 bedrooms, 3 floors, a heated pool, a private gym. But ever since the accident, the day a runaway truck crashed into his luxury car and left his son, Pedro, paralyzed, that house had turned into a tomb. The silence was unbearable. Curtains always drawn, music forgotten, laughter gone. Only the echo of Gabriel's footsteps haunted the marble halls, carrying a guilt no amount of money could wash away. He was one of Brazil's richest men, owner of a billion-dollar supermarket chain. He had everything, cars, art, luxury, except the sound of his son's laughter, and that silence was killing him slowly. One stormy afternoon, rain pouring so hard it blurred the world outside, a little girl appeared at the mansion gate. She was thin, barefoot, drenched to the bone, maybe 9 years old. She carried a torn plastic bag and an old pendant around her neck. Her name was Marina. The gardener had forgotten to close the gate. Marina slipped in, running to hide beneath a big tree. She tripped, fell backward into the mud, and laughed. Loudly. That kind of free, contagious laughter that only children have when life hasn't taught them fear. Then she stood, brushed the mud from her shorts, and began to dance. Barefoot, spinning, jumping, dancing as if the rain were music only she could hear. From his bedroom window on the second floor, Pedro saw her. For the first time in 2 years, 3 months, and 17 days. Yes, Gabriel counted every single one. His son smiled. Not a small smile. A real laugh, bursting from deep inside, shaking his shoulders, filling the room with life again. Gabriel heard the sound and froze. He hadn't heard that laughter in years. He ran up the stairs, tripping on his own feet, his heart pounding. When he reached Pedro's room, his son was at the window, eyes bright. "Dad, look!" The girl's dancing in the rain. Gabriel looked down and saw Marina, spinning under the downpour, laughing like there was no pain in the world. He ran downstairs, opened the door, and called out, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?" The girl turned, startled but still smiling. "Just hiding from the rain, sir. But then I saw the boy in the window. He looked sad. So I danced," and he laughed. Gabriel was speechless. He looked up. Pedro was waving from the window, still smiling. "Where do you live?" Gabriel asked gently. "Nowhere," she said softly. "Wherever I can sleep." He hesitated. Every instinct told him to send her away. But when he saw the light in his son's face again, alive, happy, he couldn't. "Stay until the rain stops," he said finally. "I'll get you dry clothes and some food." That night, the house breathed again. Marina ate like she hadn't in days, and probably hadn't. After a warm bath, she wore one of Gabriel's oversized shirts that hung on her like a dress. When Gabriel walked her to the gate, Pedro called from upstairs. "Dad, can she come back tomorrow?" Gabriel hesitated, then saw the spark in his son's eyes, the one he thought was gone forever. "If she wants to," he said. Marina grinned. "I'll come back. Promise." And she did. The next day, and the next, she'd bring wildflowers, crushed daisies, wilted roses someone had thrown away, and stories about princesses who lived in favelas and dragons that were really just angry dogs. She sang nonsense songs that made Pedro laugh until he couldn't breathe, and something miraculous began to happen. Pedro, who hadn't moved his legs since the accident, began to try. Not because a doctor told him to, not because therapy demanded it, but because Marina challenged him. "I bet you can move your toe," she teased. "I can't." "You can. Look, I can move mine." "Your turn." Pedro concentrated, sweating with effort, and one day his toe twitched, just a little, but it moved. When Gabriel told the doctor, the man nearly fainted. "It's unlikely," he said, "but not impossible." Something changed, his mind, his will. Gabriel knew exactly what, who, had changed it, but miracles attract storms. One cold June night, Marina didn't come. Pedro waited all day restless. Gabriel called everyone he knew, shelters, bus stops, hospitals. Nothing, until In the middle of a stormy night, he heard a sound outside. He rushed to the gate, and there she was, lying on the sidewalk, shivering, burning with fever. Marina, he lifted her. She weighed almost nothing. "I thought you wouldn't come," she whispered. "I'll never leave you alone again," he said, voice breaking. He carried her inside, called his doctor, and sat by her bed all night. When Marina finally woke, she found herself in a huge bedroom with clean sheets and Pedro sitting beside her, holding her hand. "You got sick," he said seriously, "but now you're staying here, with us." Marina tried to speak, but Gabriel interrupted softly. "He's right. You stay, not as a guest, as family." Marina burst into tears, not of sadness, but disbelief and gratitude. Gabriel gave her a room, new clothes, books, toys, even enrolled her in school. When he noticed the old pendant she never took off, he sent it be restored. When he returned it, shining, Marina cried again. "It was my mom's," she said. "She died when I was little. But she told me, when your heart hurts, dance. Dancing scares the sadness away." Gabriel felt a lump in his throat. "Then keep dancing," he said. "The world needs people who dance when everything's falling apart." But not everyone saw it that way. It didn't take long before the world found out. Photos began to circulate online. The billionaire Gabriel Andrade with a barefoot girl at his mansion. Headlines exploded. Tycoon shelters street child, charity or publicity. Businessman adopts orphan without legal process. Gabriel's advisors panicked. "Sir, this'll destroy your image." Some say it's a PR stunt. Others claim she's an actress hired to make you look good. You must respond. Gabriel looked at them, calm but cold. "Let them talk," he said. "They can say what they want, but they'll never take away my son's laughter. And this girl stays." But the storm only grew. One morning, the doorbell rang. A social worker stood there, polite but firm. "Mr. Andrade, I understand the situation, but the law is clear. Until legal guardianship is established, the child must be under state protection." Gabriel's world cracked open. "She's safe here. She has everything she needs." "I don't doubt that, sir," the woman said gently. "But this isn't about comfort. It's about procedure." When Gabriel told Pedro, the boy broke down. "No, Dad, do something. Don't let them take her." Marina hugged him, tears mixing with his. "It's okay, Pedro. We'll see each other again. I promise." "You promised before, too," he whispered. "What if you don't come back?" "I will. I always come back." But when the car drove away, Pedro screamed until his voice gave out, and the house, once filled with laughter again, sank back into silence. Gabriel didn't sleep that night, nor the next, nor the next. He called the best lawyers in Brazil, gathered every document, every medical report, every testimony. "If the law needs paper," he said, eyes red with exhaustion, "I'll give a mountain." He fought for months. Hearings, interviews, psychological assessments, home inspections. Marina visited under supervision, always with that same shy smile. And then, one bright morning, the final hearing came. The courtroom was crowded, judge, lawyers, journalists. Marina sat small and nervous beside her attorney. Across the room, Gabriel and Pedro waited. The judge called, "Pedro Andrade, would you like to speak?" Pedro rolled forward in his wheelchair. "Yes, ma'am," he said softly. "Do you want Marina to live with you?" He nodded. Then, to everyone's shock, he placed his hands on the wheels, braced his arms against the table, and began to stand. Gabriel leapt up. "Pedro, no. You'll fall." But Pedro didn't stop. Trembling, sweating, gripping the edge of the bench, he rose. "She healed me," he said, voice breaking. "Marina healed me." The room went silent. Tears filled the judge's eyes. Marina ran to him, catching him just as his legs gave out. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the judge cleared her throat, her voice thick with emotion. "This child already has a home," she said softly. "And that home has her." 3 days later, the decision was official. Guardianship granted. Adoption in progress. The following months were magic. Pedro began to walk again, slowly, painfully but determined. Marina thrived in school, devouring books and acing exams. The mansion, once a grave, became a home again. Every evening, the three of them sat in the garden. Gabriel would water the flowers, watching the two children laugh and chase each other barefoot. "I never knew love had a scent," he said once. Marina sniffed the air and smiled. "It does. Smells like wet earth after rain." Years passed. On a golden Sunday afternoon, Pedro, now a young man, stood in that same garden. Beside him was a little girl, maybe 6, in a wheelchair. "Come on, Luana," he said gently. "You can do it." She tried to stand, wobbled, then fell and laughed. "Tio, Pedro, why do you always laugh when I fall?" Pedro smiled. "Because once, someone danced in the rain to remind me what living felt like. And now it's my turn to do the same." From across the yard, Marina watched them, older now, a teacher working with special needs children, the same silver pendant still gleaming at her neck. Gabriel, his hair now gray, stepped beside her. "You saved him, you know." Marina shook her head. "No, we saved each other." As the sun dipped low, she slipped off her shoes, stepped onto the damp grass, and began to dance. Pedro lifted Luana in his arms and danced too. Gabriel laughed, tears in his eyes. The garden seemed alive again, the laughter echoing through every leaf and drop of rain. Because the miracle had never ended, it had simply multiplied. The miracle was still barefoot, just as it had begun. And you, yes, you, have you ever met your own Marina? That one person who appeared out of nowhere and changed everything? Think about them. The one who taught you how to dance in the rain. If this story touched your heart, share it. Someone out there might need a reason to smile again.